Hey guys, welcome back. It is your favorite Gimp with the Limp, and I'm back with a little bit more of a more fearful sacrifice by Flying Pig Games. Alright, so I mentioned in the end of the previous video that I was thinking about just playing the rest of this turn off camera, but there was one card I did want to play, so I was going to play off camera up until I drew it, but it was the first card that I drew, so didn't have to worry about it. I wanted to do the cavalry here on camera because there's a lot going on with these guys. And I was flopping back and forth on what I wanted to do, and I was like, screw it, I'm playing this for fun, so we're going to stick in here and we're going to have all the cavalry run in. Right now, they all start dismounted anyway, so I could mount them up and try to do stuff and try to get them adjacent, but I'd still be taking the crap, so we're just going to keep them dismounted. We're going to move it in. Probably not the best of ideas, but we're just going to go for that. And the specific thing I wanted to show is like defensive fire, because that was one of the things that I've been trying to avoid, but you have to get into it. There's no other choice. You have to get adjacent to them. So doing it in a specific way can save you some heartache depending on how you do it. So I'll show you what I mean here. First, we have to figure out what we're activating. It really doesn't matter unless we get a 1 and then only one brigade activates. I'm hoping it's not that, because the rest of the division will be able to get activated. 3, yeah, we're good. So division, group, and the artillery. So pretty much everybody. The thing is, with these guys, they don't have a division card. They're a special activation. They have their little cavalry card here that's drawn, and that's what we do. So we are activating all these guys. Now, since it is division by group, I have to give them all the same orders. So, yeah, I am going to be doing some stuff here. Now, I've got some cavalry down over here and more of that Caliph, focus in for me, Caliph artillery right there. These guys are at the tail end of this ridge, and I was actually thinking about just moving them up here. So if I give an attack order to everyone, they'll all have enough movement points to get where they need to go, and I just want to kind of move them up. I know they won't be able to do a whole lot back here, but I'm kind of thinking of guarding this road here, right? This main line, because that'll push in and allow the Confederates to move in towards the town quickly. So if I can hold that, that'll behoove them. So I've got 1 artillery and 1 dismounted cavalry. So just to save us a little time, we're going to move those guys up and get them in the positions they're going to be in. And now we're going to focus on the rest of the stuff here. Now, artillery does activate a little differently. They don't have to necessarily go along with what the brigade group is doing. And I've got another piece of this Caliph artillery here, and I do believe I have to activate them together as well. I don't believe I get to activate them separately by brigade. Wouldn't matter anyway. Let's see, this guy is Tibble, so what I'm planning on doing is pulling him back as well. Since I did a movement with this one, we'll do a movement with that one as well, kind of guarding this ridge. And the rest of these guys are going to do the sticking in, because the rest of this is cavalry, another cavalry. I've got 4 in each one of these, with the exception of 3 are here. One of the gambles is back here along the road. So when I'm talking about the defensive fire thing, they're doing their steps in their activation. And when they move adjacent to someone, they engage them, okay? And you can only engage someone once. So basically what they're gonna do is move up in such a way that one person will take like the defensive fire. That's my goal here. So since this one is weaker, that we've got a 4 strength power here, a 2 and a 2, as part of this gamble, I want one of the 2s to take the defensive fire. So I want him to move up and him to be engaged first with those 2. Boom. I'm marking him just with one of my little beads just to remember he's taking defensive fire in the defensive fire step. from both of those guys, and they can do coordinated fire, which means if they're adjacent in the same brigade, they can coordinate their fire and double up on him. So he's potentially going to take some hurt, but it prevents them from doing like that and shooting at my other guys as well. So these guys are moved up, but just taking defensive fire with him because he engaged those two. Now these two have moved up. All right, that's my thought process, trying to save myself a little hurt here. Thinking the same over here. Got 4 units. One is a 1, so I want the 1 to take as much hurt as possible. So if I move him up first, he will take defensive fire, and he's engaging those two. And there's a 2 and a 4, a 2, 3, and a 4. So what if we do this, this, and then this one down to there. That way he's taking defensive fire as well because he can take it from the 6 up here. So these two can coordinate against him. He can shoot there. These two are shooting there. So 3 out of the 7 are taking attacks during this defensive step. Hopefully it's not going to kill him because the dice rolls have been horrible. We'll have to see how that pans out. But I'm hoping moving them up in that way will engage these guys, keep the others safe. And now that I think about it, unless I wanted to take 2 defensive fires, yeah, because I had to put one in the middle. But if he is taken out or forced to retreat, now these two are separated, which is a bad thing when it comes to the brigades because their cohesion rating goes down. So that sucks. All right, but I have to remember, I'm going to start from the bottom, work my way up. That way I remember this one is taking 2 shots. He's getting coordinated fire against him, but he's only got a strength power 1, so it's not horrible. Alrighty then, let's grab up our die and get ready to fire. I need to figure out my stuff here. Yeah, I was checking the terrain effects chart over here, looking for any of these fire combat extra shifts, and there's not really a lot. When it comes to assault combat, these slopes will get into it, but when it comes to fire combat, it's not going to affect it. And I don't think we're getting anything else. Yeah, what type of terrain is this? This is all just normal terrain. Yeah, that's major lane, so it's just going to be that. Minor lane, well, he's not taking a shot anyway. So it's just all normal terrain for the guys who are getting shot at. So, that's not going to go good. We're looking at 12, and the highest they can get is 10. So they're not going to be able to get any extra shifts, and they're not firing at long range. Yeah, okay. They are dismounted cavalry. That is going to get them 1 shift left. So the attackers are getting knocked down. These guys are, even with 12 strength points, they're getting knocked down to 8, 9 on their attack, which is still relatively good, all things considered. I thought it was going to be a little lower than that. All right, let's roll for the attack, see what happens. Nothing, baby. Nothing. I told you the attacks were going to be shit. No effect. Good grief. Good grief, man. All right, that one's down. We got that. All right, this one here should be the same, should be 8, 9 because that is 11. It's 10 maximum. And then we're dropping it back down by 1 for being dismounted cavalry, which is going to put us here on the 8, 9 column. I was hoping that this set of attacks would at least show something, a skedaddle, something happening. But so far, nothing, man. This is like the 10th attack where it's been nothing. All right, here we go. Let's see what we get. Okay, that's something. 54. And remember, just in case you haven't seen a previous video, black die, white die, red die, just because I'm using gravity dice. All right, so we got 54 and a 2 on the red. That's actually one of the better rolls that I've seen. Let's check here. 54 on 8, 9 should be a T. Yes, that is a T. T plus their cohesion rating of 4 with a 2 pops them up to 6. And they got a shaken, I think, plus skedaddle 1. Nope, actually they don't have to do that since it is in the parentheses. That means they have to do the first and can do the second. A slash means first or second, parentheses, first and maybe second, and then a plus means both. So they're getting the shaken result, but they do not have to skedaddle. And do I want them to skedaddle? No, I think I'm gonna keep them there. Keep the brigade together. All right, so that leaves me one attack left to take care of, which is this one, which is just a 6. So that's actually not too bad. And that should drop down to a 5. That is going to drop down to a 5 because they are dismounted cavalry. So that'll be our last attack for this round. All right, or for this attack rather. All right, defensive fire. Let's go. Big numbers. 31. That's probably going to be nothing. And with a 6, I can almost guarantee that being nothing. 31 on 5. Oh. Right there, I keep hitting at the nudge. If they've been one column up, if they hadn't had to take that little, they would at least get an E. All right, so it's no effect. No effect. Can they get a return fire though? They might. They just might. They got no effect with their cohesion rating. They are together 10, and they get to fire back. I love it. I freaking love it. Now we actually get to see a friendly fire because dismounted cavalry only have a range of 1 hex anyway. So he actually gets to return fire against him. I mean, it's only a strength power of 2, but at least he's doing something. All right. I don't think we're going to have any modifiers applying to this. They're at the same level, same everything. Should just be a flat roll. These guys do not get to join in since this is just a defensive fire back. So let's roll off on it, see what they get with their little 2. Nothing. Green. Man, if that had been good, I would have loved to have seen them come back if that black die had been better. That 1 just killed it because the 1 on a red die is good. That means they got low and they're more likely to take a bad hit. But I needed that to be high too. So an attacker wants a high black die and a low red die. And preferably a high white green die. Okay, well, truth be told, that went out way better than I thought it was going to. The cavalry actually got stuck in. Now they've got them pinned down. They're all engaged, so that we could actually see some assault combat going on later. They've got them pinned in down here. They've got them pinned in here. They've got a couple of cannons over here to, fire, and then one cavalry here just guarding the road. So these 2 cannons are kind of covering if anyone tops this ridge. And then down even farther, we've got 2 big groups of infantry coming in along this main road to push in defensively. Now I might take them up here. I might take them over this direction, just depending on how they're needed. But right now it's actually playing out pretty well for the Union. I really expected this to hurt them worse than it did. So this is a nice holding action. The Confederates aren't going to be able to do too much. And that means with the cavalry here not taking very many hits during this defense, then on the next turn when we got reinforcements, they can hold them another turn or 2 and let those reinforcements get into position. The Confederates are going to have a hard time getting on to Gettysburg unless they get these cavalry cleared out. Yeah, I think that might be my plan. Try to hold the ridges with the cannons, hold the roads with the infantry and the cavalry. I mean, I really should be using the cavalry for maneuver combat, but it is what it is. All right, but you guys stay tuned. We'll see how the rest of it plays out. Since the rest of the cards that I do have, I'll shuffle these up again, but this is what I'm looking at, which is a bunch of events, a couple of Confederates, and mostly Union cards left to be played out. So I'm going to run these off camera, run them out for their one-offs, unless the event is really good for me, and then I'll play out the event, and that way we can pick back up with the start of the next turn, get those reinforcements coming in, and see how it plays out. All right, you guys put your comments down below. Let me know what you think, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.